Essentially, what is the conclusion of your life? Death, isn't it? Every time you conclude, in some way you die, you must know this. You know, I can take you back. Are there religious people? Hello? Are you religious people? Because people are fundamentally misunderstanding their memory to be intelligence. This is the fundamental problem. Our education systems are designed like this, religious processes are designed like this, largely society is designed like this. Memory is misunderstood as intelligence. If you went to school, I didn't go much, nor did you, both of us are lucky that way.
You're right.
But when I went to school, what I saw was people memorize everything and on a specific day, which is called examination day, they'll go and puke it there. If they puke really well, they are great.
You get great score.
I puke little.
I never puked at all. I never puked at all.
You never puked?
Never, not even 1 minute.
I puke little. But those who puked everything were number one out there. So this is not just in a classroom, everywhere this is built. We are misunderstanding memory as intelligence. As I said earlier, great times are coming when your memory will mean nothing, because there is a simple phone in my machine which has more memory than all of you put together. Hello? So your memory will mean nothing.
But if you lose that phone, your memory will be in trouble too.
No, we can have it implanted in the skin.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what we thought as great value, I wanted to understand how this world has been built, these civilizations and cultures have been built. There was a time when nobody could read, all right? So one guy comes and he opens one book, he's got only one book all the time. Well, if you read 10 books, you become a scholar. If you remember 10 books, people say you are a PhD. If you know one book, you become a representative of God. How's this? Forever it's been happening, this will not work in the future. Because my phone will recite all the scriptures put together at one time. Yes, it will. Yes or no? Just because the guy knew how to read, he was acting like a representative of God. Suppose I came to California 1,000 years ago on a bicycle, when nobody had seen a bicycle, you don't know what it is. I came riding on these 2 thin wheels. Wow! I came and parked here and said, I've just come from heaven on this special God-given vehicle. You would all bow down. So after I finish my whatever bull with you, when I want to go and rest, I take away the front wheel and sleep on it, because if any of you learn how to ride, then my heavenly status will go. But a local brat who's good for nothing took this bicycle with single wheel and started riding it all over the place. Now I'm in trouble. This is happening. The Google lady will recite every scripture that you want. We don't know who the hell she is. But she can tell you anything you want, she will tell you the meaning also, interpretations also, yes or no? So, just in many ways, because human beings by themselves did not do it, because people did not do it consciously. I think in many ways the technological developments are going to end a whole level of nonsensical things that have been happening just because somebody remembers something, somebody can recite something, they were elevated, all this will go. Very good times. But in the meantime, when one level of what we believed collapses and before you attain to clarity, there is a danger. One thing that's happening is, in the world, heavens are collapsing. 100 years ago, how many people believed they are going to heaven? And today, how many people believe they're going to heaven has come down dramatically, isn't it so? So, is it okay?
Good. Yeah. Real good.
This happened. This happened in Alabama. Well, a Sunday school teacher was going full fire. This is Alabama. Full fire. Unfortunately, the audience were not like you, they were all tiny tots. Catch them young policy. In his rhetoric, he stopped and asked, "What do you have to do to go to heaven?" Little Mary in the front row, she's always in the front row, said, "If I scrub the church floor every Sunday morning, I will go to heaven." Absolutely. Another little girl stood up and said, "If I share 50% of my pocket money with my less privileged friend, I will go to heaven." Correct. Another little boy stood up and said, "If I help those who are in need, I will go to heaven." Correct. Little Tommy in the back bench stood up and said, "You gotta die first." That's a qualification.
Yeah.
You got to die first. So when we die, depending upon your culture, we will either bury you or burn you or cut you and throw you to the birds. Different cultures, depending upon which culture you are, that they will do. Or in other words, this body is a piece of planet that we gathered slowly. It's good you put it back. I heard that Americans these days are not putting it back anymore. They're building a concrete grave and an aluminum casket. Even when you're dead, you don't want to be eco-friendly. What is this? At least when we die, we should put this goddamn body back into the soil.
Absolutely.
That's where it came, that's where it should go. But even that they're not doing. Huh?
And let the bugs eat it.
Some people are planning to take it to Mars. Anyway, you left your body here and went to heaven. What is in heaven? You know what's in heaven? You don't know? You should know these things. In the Hindu heaven, food is very good. Good food. Indians, lives are invested in cooking and eating. In the other place, there are white-gowned ladies floating around in the clouds. If you like that kind of ambience, you can go there. In another place, you will encounter virgin problems. If that's what you're looking for, that's fine too. Only problem is, you went to heaven without a body. What do you do with good food and virgins, I'm asking? Hello? These are all problems you have when you have a body. Once you don't have a body, what do? Food, if you put it here, it'll fall down. Hello? No, if you ask these questions, heavens will collapse. Heavens are collapsing. I think nearly 70% of the heavens in human mind has collapsed in the last 50 years. What do you think? Huh? And anyway, let me ask you this. Do you have any proof that you are not already in heaven and making a mess out of it? Do you have any proof? You're already in heaven, but making a mess out of it. Tell me, if you just change the geography of your existence, will everything about you change, I'm asking you? Hello? If you move from one place to another, you think everything will change? No. If this one person changes, everything changes. Doesn't matter where we are. If we raise human consciousness, that is, if we teach people how to sit here and be just blissed out. Hello? Look at my eyes, I'm always stoned. I'm not on any of your products, but
No, you're not.
I'm definitely not. But look at me, I'm always stoned. Because the greatest chemical factory on the planet is here. To what extent means, per second, your body is processing something like 37 followed by 21 zeros, whatever that number is. To give you a perspective, 11 zeros make a trillion. 37 followed by 21 zeros. That many chemical reactions are happening in this body per second. If you knew how to manage this, you can create any kind of experience you want in this. When you have this kind of a sophisticated machine, you are doing things in a caveman-like way. This is like we gave you a touch-screen phone, but you are like this.
Awesome.
What will come out of that? You're supposed to do like this, but you are like this. You know what will come out of it? That's all that's happening right now. So there is a way. Today I can proudly say, across the world, there are millions of people, if they close their eyes in the morning, tears of ecstasy and love every day in their life, every day. Millions of people. So it is not an accident that one person, obviously it can be done. Just a little understanding of how human chemistry functions. You don't have to go into chemical analysis of who you are. There are simple processes with which one can do if one is willing to invest a little bit of time in a day. Life will become wonderful. Because by curtailing human faculty, you cannot believe you're enhancing life. Right now, most human beings believe they enhance their life by curtailing human faculties. Like, I was in Mysore city. I had to meet somebody, so I went into a building. A lady, over 70, 75 years of age, and she's a very petite, small woman. She just comes up to me with a big smile on her face. How are you doing? I don't forget faces, I may forget names, but I don't forget faces that I see. I just look at her, I don't know her, but okay, I respond, I'm doing wonderful, how are you doing? Da-da-da, then I go up. After 20 minutes, I get off the elevator and I'm just coming. She again comes up to me and with the same full enthusiasm, how are you doing? So, wow, this is just 20 minutes ago. Then I respond somehow and then I'm getting into the car. Somebody who was walking with me says, poor lady, she's lost her memory, she doesn't remember a thing. I said, she seems to be doing wonderful. I don't think she was this happy with her memory on. Right now she's exuberant because she's forgotten everything. This is the case with most human beings. Little drink and they forget something. Now they're exuberant. Lowering your faculties and thinking that I'm well is a serious mistake. This happened. One day Shankaran Pillai, he was just outside in the marketplace and he met an old friend, a college friend that he had not seen for more than 25–30 years. So they really jammed up and he invited him home and he came home for dinner. When they were sitting for dinner, Shankaran Pillai, every time he wants to ask something of his wife, he says, "My sweetie pie, my honey, my boo-boo-boo, my bulbul, my choo-choo-choo," like this. After the dinner is over and the chat is over, the friend is leaving, the Shankaran Pillai came to the door to see him off. He said, "You're really having an amazing life. Me and my wife can't even talk to each other properly. Every time you refer to her, all this sweetie, honey, choo-choo-choo, boo-boo-boo, all this stuff, you're really having an amazing life, aren't you?" Shankaran Pillai said, "Are you crazy, man? 7 years ago I forgot her name."
Oh no.
So many people are well only when they lose their faculties because their problem is of evolution. Their problem is just that they got upgraded and they don't know how to handle it.
So tell us, how many children do you have? How many children do you have? I know you spoke of a daughter. Yeah, we want to know about you. How many children do you have? All right, I won't ask them.
No, you can ask. I have millions of them, only one is my mistake.
Oh no, man. I like that one. I like that one.
I have many, but only one is my mistake.
Okay. Hey, this is really an awesome evening. I can't even believe you're here. I'm just still in the daze. I'm just really happy to have you here with me and my friend Eben. This is really almost like a dream come true. We saw you and we were just in the stage of just reasoning with enlightenment, and we saw your story, how you became, one day you came and you fainted and you thought you were there for an hour and you were there for like 14 hours. That's my story. Didn't that happen to you? Yeah, so I thought that was amazing, and so I stayed a great fan, and I stayed following you. And then I was talking to Eben, and I would say, "Eben, you think we could ever get him down here? You think he'd come down here and talk to us? We never believed you would do it, and now you're here. That's just, man, so mind-boggling." Thank you, really.
So now that you asked this question, how to do the user's manual, on 27th of October was the Diwali festival. It's a festival of lights in India. Because these millions of people have been supporting me, particularly for the river movements that I've been doing in India. 162 million people supported the movement. It's the largest movement anywhere in the world at any time. So, with money, with volunteering, in many ways they've been supporting us. So I thought on the festival day, let me offer them a gift. And I said, on the Diwali day, if you register in engineering online, which normally costs $150 per person, I said it's free on this day for you. Whoa! 740,000 people registered. It's cost me a few $1 million now.
Now, how do you feel about that? How does that make you feel?
It's fantastic that so many people were waiting to do it. So now I'm still in the same mode. So for all of you who are here today, we'll offer in engineering online free if you register before midnight today. That's the user's manual.
First of all, what is a miracle? If you put filth in the soil, it becomes a miracle.
if you put a piece of bread into this becomes a complex human body. This is a miracle. This is one way of looking at it. When we say a miracle, when what we see, the phenomena that we see is not easily available to a logical process, we say this is miraculous. Of course, the word miracle has been taken to another place by religious groups and stuff, but essentially, in human experience, a miracle means you saw yesterday you planted a seed and today it's become a beautiful flower. It's miraculous. Because you can, of course, there is somebody there who can explain exactly how filth became a flower, how a stinking filth became a fragrant flower, can be explained, but not easily available to human logic, so we say this is miraculous. Calling something miraculous does not mean it is not available to any reason. Calling something miraculous essentially means we appreciate the magic of life. Well, our parents gave us, very stingy people, they gave us only one cell each. Hello? They could have given us 1,000,000 and made life easy, but they gave us only one, and here we are sitting talking all this. This is a miracle. Well, we can always talk about how cells multiplied, what happened, this. But you can't do this in a drum. You can't put this in a barrel and do this. So this is a miraculous process that it's happening. So one way of looking at it is you can explain everything about life. Another way is just everything in life is magical and miraculous. What is logical? How I see logic is, logic is the most fundamental aspect of our intelligence. If you don't have a firm sense of logic, you will be all over the place. But logic is the foundation. We make a strong foundation for this building, not to live in the foundation. Of course, in America they call this basement, in India we call it a dungeon. So we don't live in the foundation, we make a strong foundation because we want to build something else on it. So in this sense, whatever comes out of this earth is quite miraculous. How a worm-like caterpillar becomes a butterfly, just about anything, look at it from human wonder, there is a miraculous process to it. We can explain some physical aspect of how it happens, but what intelligence makes this happen, it is quite miraculous, there's no question about it. About consciousness, I think, I don't know how it is seen, Steve, you must understand. One thing is, I've strived hard to remain uneducated and also strived very hard to remain uncivilized. Why this is so is, because most of the striving in people's lives is to become educated, to become civilized. In my experience, how I see this is, anything accumulated diminishes your perception. Both your education and civilization is an accumulated process. Once you accumulate these things and identify with those things, your ability to see life as is becomes seriously impaired. From this context, it's very difficult to remain uncivilized and uneducated because from the moment you're born, your parents, every other adult, the moment they see a child, adults have a kind of an urge, they want to educate the child, teach them ABC, 1, 2, 3, Mary had a little lamb, something. Well, these things didn't matter to me, I didn't care whether Mary had a lamb or not. So, consciously remaining uninfluenced by all the information that's thrown at you in so many different ways. School is not the only place where it happens, at home, anywhere you go, people are throwing stuff at you. To remain uninfluenced by that is a lot of work. Education is a lot of work, I understand this. Remaining uneducated is a lot more work, I'm telling you, because every moment somebody is trying to educate you, knowingly or unknowingly. So, having said that, to be able to look at life just the way it is, then
this word consciousness, I think there is a little bit of… probably the way I'm looking at it is very different. If we're talking about a human being conscious right now, that all of you are conscious in that sense, that is, yes, you're conscious. Only Bala can throw you off by using his magic of anesthetics. That is conscious, human beings being conscious. Of course, if you're not conscious, there's nothing here for you. But consciousness, an English word consciousness doesn't really represent that, but generally we think we are talking about an intelligence beyond our own intellect, which is functioning within us right now. When I say functioning, well, you can explain the physical process of many things, but a piece of bread doesn't look like you, feel like you, nor does it have your intelligence, but if you put it inside, in some way it becomes you. This is a miraculous and conscious process of consciousness. See, first of all, human mind, this brain-centric approach, we don't look at it that way. We see as there is a physical body, there is a mental body. When I say a mental body, every cell in your body has enormous memory, far more memory than your brain can ever hold, because this remembers how your forefathers were 1,000,000 years ago. It's not forgotten a thing, even the skin texture, it's not forgotten to that extent. So every cell in the body carries enormous memory and the kind of functions that it is doing is unbelievable. So it has intelligence and it has memory. Essentially in human understanding, what we call as mind is a certain combination of memory and intelligence, so that is spread right across the system. Whether human beings have learned to use that or no, because this whole thing about in the today's modern education process, we are made to believe only thought is intelligence. No, our thought is rudimentary because it's only functioning from the little data that we have collected. The data that I have collected, how much ever I have collected, it is still minuscule in this cosmos. It is like in the morning also we were talking about this, if I give you a 1,000,000,000-piece jigsaw, if you put 5 pieces together, you say this is a bear. If you get 8, you will say this is an elephant. If you get 12, you will say this is a dinosaur. If you get 15, maybe you will call it a whale, I don't know. Just arriving at conclusions every time we get a piece of information is not the way to conclude about what we are referring to as consciousness. Being conscious, you being conscious, let's use different words so that there is a distinction. Right now, let's say you're aware, I'm just replacing the word conscious, replacing the word conscious with being aware, you're aware. In the yogic sciences, we call this prajna. You're right now prajna. If you fall asleep, you are not conscious or you're not aware. Let's use the word awareness to make a distinction. But beyond intellect, this intellect, how it functions is operated by what we are identified with. Depending upon what we are identified with, accordingly the intellect wails itself. Right now, people are fighting for nationhood, people are fighting for religion, people are fighting for race, people are fighting for whatever they believe in, simply because they're identified with it and in their intellect this says, this is the way. There are no two ways about it. Two groups of people or two individuals, when they're quarreling, both of them believe this is it, otherwise they won't risk their life. Hello? When somebody pitches their life for something, you must believe that it matters to them and they believe that's it. Unfortunately, it is just that it is your identity which makes you use your intelligence in this form. So there are various dimensions of memory which plays out through this identity. Beyond this, there is an intelligence which is unsullied by memory. This is what we refer to as chitta, and generally that's what I would understand as consciousness. You being aware is different, consciousness is different. What is the nature of this? Where does this come from? As I said, I have strived for a whole lifetime to remain uneducated. It's not easy. Try and see. Try and see how your parental influence, your cultural influence, your religious influence, your whatever else is around you doesn't play in your mind at this moment. Try and see. Whichever way you try to think, it'll work because your thought works from data, and data has come from all these sources. To be able to simply be here without allowing the data to play up in your mind, it takes a lot of work. So from that context, I'm saying, what we are referring to as consciousness is that which is the very basis of our creation. Well, somebody may call it God, it's up to them because they're trying to personalize that in their life. Because they can't relate to anything which is not in a human form, they're saying that. But there are so many people of Indian origin here, they have man god, they have woman god, they have cow god, they have snake god, they have monkey god, they have every crawling, creeping, every kind. Because according to wherever they were living, they made that into their god. Essentially, what they are looking for is personification of the source of what is happening. Because we cannot explain this source, because logically we cannot conclude, the only way is to experience. How will you experience? What are the different ways to experience? There are four aspects in yoga. This is called as karma, kriya, jnana, bhakti. What this means is, these are four dimensions of your existence. You have a physical body, so through action, you can realize certain things. You have an intelligence. Through your intelligence, you can realize certain things. If you realize through your action, we call this karma yoga. If you realize through your intelligence, we call this jnana yoga. If you realize through your emotion, we call this bhakti yoga, yoga of devotion or emotion. If you realize by transforming your inner energies, we call this kriya yoga. These are the only four things you can do no matter what you do, whether you do religion or you do intellectual stuff, you do education, you do devotion, you do whatever. You can use your body or your mind or your emotion or your energy. This is all that's happening, these four things. All these four are pathways. But at the same time, is there anybody here who is just one big body and don't have a mind or don't have an emotion or energy? No, we are a combination of these four things. Why are we so different? Because we are a unique combination of these four things. In one person, the body may be dominant, in another person, their emotions may be dominant, in another person, their intellect may be dominant. Each person has a different mix of the same things, but these four things are the possibility of knowing. So what we are referring to as consciousness is that aspect of creation which is intelligent but unsullied by memory. Without memory, it doesn't have an intent, it doesn't manifest. Without memory, it doesn't have a direction, it's just there. If it finds little memory, it finds expression. Oh, where is the proof? Well, I am the proof. Because if you want to prove everything with logical steps, as I said, logic is the foundation of our living here, but foundation is not the place to live. So, first of all, if we separate what is awareness and what is consciousness, I think a lot of these different opinions will go away. About a miracle, well, those who want to enjoy their life, appreciate life and really experience life, they will look everything from a magical eye. Those who want to dissect life, they will look at it from a logical aspect of life. It's not a question of right and wrong, it's just two different ways of doing the same thing.
I certainly…
And what Sadhguru is saying, so Sadhguru wants to respond, I think. You want to pass the mic to him?
Well, I think we're coming from two different contexts. That's why I said probably in the Western religions, the word miracle is being used For lack of words, don't… because I already kind of excuse myself saying I'm uncivilized. Miracle is a way of duping people. I'm not talking about the word miracle in that context, that's why I said there's a different way to look at life. If you look at everything as logical steps, our logical steps progress with whatever data we have. Nobody can claim they have data about everything that's life and the whole phenomena of creation, nobody has. Neither the religious people nor the men of science know where the existence or the cosmos begins and where it ends. Nobody knows. Hello? Nobody knows. But somebody is bombastic enough to explain it all happened because of one person up there, another is trying to piece it together, piece by piece. But how many pieces ever you gather? Because today modern science is recognizing this is a ever-expanding universe. If it's an ever-expanding universe, it doesn't matter how many pieces of the jigsaw you collect, you still don't have a full picture. So in that context, I'm saying we go as far as our logic and our data takes us. From there is a blind spot which we do not know, we just hope it happens. And sometimes we have found if you do certain things happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen. But the important thing is, using the word miracle as a way to fool people to believe things and working through a logical process for all the phenomenal activity that we do in the world, there is no contest about that, there is no any difference about that. But coming to the consciousness, once again I would like to distinguish your awareness of yourself right now and consciousness are two different entities altogether. Your awareness is definitely a consequence of all the things that are happening in the brain. I've not looked because I don't have one, I'm only experiencing it through other people. So, I do not know all that, but definitely it's a consequence of what's happening. Things are firing up, we know. I may not know exactly where, how it's firing up, I know things are fired up within us, which is creating a certain awareness. So, this awareness is a consequence of activity, not just the brain, I wouldn't go over that. I think there is a brain right across. From your toes to your head, everywhere there is different levels of brain. I don't want to call it brain, we call this mental body. There is memory and there is intelligence right across. So, only if all this fires up, then you have an experience of life. How much it fires up will determine how profound an experience of life you have. This is a different aspect. We're talking about consciousness. That is not exactly an appropriate word in English language because that's the only word we have as far as I know. Normally we call this chitta. Chitta means an intelligence without memory. It has no intent, but you can create any intent for it. With the same life energy, somebody will do evil things. With the same life energy, somebody will do wonderful things because it has no intent. It's simply there, it empowers you whichever way. Let's say it's like electricity, you can make sound out of it, you can make light out of it, you can make whatever you want out of it. Just like that, the fundamental force which drives us has no intent. So, when we say consciousness, we are referring to that aspect of intelligence which has no intent because it has no memory. But if you give it memory, it will immediately gain an intent and a direction.
Tell me, if you become very blissful and wonderful, if you simply sit here, you don't have to make movies, you don't have to make money, you don't have to be famous, simply sit here and you're fantastic. Will you think how to rob these people, how to exploit that person, how to kill this person, will you think? Just imagine, you're feeling absolutely wonderful within yourself. Are you thinking how to get the best out of somebody? Will you? Just doesn't occur to you, isn't it? So the problem with the world is we are trying to fix the transactions without fixing the fundamental life process. When we say morality, ethic, values, what we are trying to do is, we are trying to fix the transactions without fixing the fundamental life.
So if you fix this life the way it should be, transactions will happen according to the needs of the world. People are always asking, you know, these kind of idiotic things keep coming to me from journalists and others. Oh, in the olden times, yogis used to walk, you are driving your own car. I said, in the olden times, you idiot, everybody was walking, all right, not just the yogi. Yogi might have walked little faster than others. Now the yogi drives little faster than others, that's all.
And India, మన దేశంలో 33 కోట్ల దేవతలు ఉన్నారు. There are 33 crore gods in our religion that we follow. So why is there a need for so many gods, and how do we worship? And do you believe in the fact that if you when you worship, that you just worship one god, or like, you know, each god has a specific way to be worshipped?
We are Indians, we like variety. We are not people who will stay in a uniform, we are
Not one
like that, all right? See, first of all, change that question in terms of why does our religion has 33 crore gods? 33 crore, is it?
Yeah, but why does our religion have 33 crore gods?
No, our religion doesn't have 33 crore gods. In fact, we don't have a religion. We are a land of seekers. We have variety of spiritual processes. Everybody can seek in their own way, because the fundamental in the world, the fundamental of a religion means there must be a God, and you must believe this is the nature of the God, and you must believe this is the way to get to the God. These are fundamentals. We don't have the God. The people whom you worship are all people who walked this geography at one time or the other. Your Shiva, your Rama, your Krishna, they walked this land at one time. They lived, they had families, they had children, they fought battles, all right? And they are more drama than your life. Yes or no? Much more drama than your life, much more turmoil than your life. But because of the way they lived, the way they conducted their life, one thing is their full-fledged life, and no matter what kind of drama happened to them, they conducted themselves in an equanimous way, being above the drama. Because they were above the drama, we call them a director, I'm sorry. We call them we call them a divine being. All the others were in the drama, caught in the drama. But even though they're active participants in the drama, they stayed above the drama. In a way, people are claiming God is the director of life, isn't it? Hello?
And we're all the actors.
We don't know about that. I leave that to you. But essentially, when we said 33 crore gods, we said that only when our population was 33 crore. Today, we have 125 crore gods. Actually, we should have, but we become little shy because of outside people making you feel like a fool. Oh, we have only one god, you all have a zoo full of gods. We're feeling shy. But no, this is a fantastic thing. One thing is, we said 33 crore gods because we recognized every human being as a divine entity. This is why you go to the temple, what do? You do hi? What do you do?
We pray, yeah.
You know what you do this. If you see a man in the street, what do you do? Do this. If you see a woman, what do? You do this. Even a cow, an animal, if you see a tree, a rock, if you see, what do? You do this. Because we recognized there is nothing here happening without the source of creation in some way functioning within that. So, we are trying to recognize that. When the population was 33 crores, we said we have 33 crore gods and goddesses. Today, it must be 125 crores. Not just 125 crores, it must be 7.6 billion gods and goddesses. And why are we leaving out the other creatures? Any number, trillions of gods and goddesses. Because you recognize the source of creation is definitely throbbing in every leaf, in every fruit, in every root, in every insect, worm, animal, everything, including the human being. So this is what the culture is about. Today, somebody misinterprets the whole thing, saying, oh, you have 33 gods, actually there's only one God. How the hell do you know there's only one God? You just believe it, right? But here, we were given the choice to make our own gods. Do you understand? There's something called as Ishta Devata, that you can choose the God you want. Isn't it fantastic?
Yeah.
God is not an imposition on you. You can make this tree your god and every day worship this god. In your garden, if you go and worship your tree, in India, neighbors will not think you're crazy. If you do it in any other country, they'll call the police. Do you know this? I'm not joking. They'll call the police. They will attack you. In some countries, they will attack you. In some countries, they'll call the police. But you go into your garden, there's one rock standing there, one little stone, you go and worship, oh, people will say, oh, he's a devotee. So, is it not important? The important thing is to see the footprint of the divine in every piece of life around you. Right now, because God has been exported to heaven, you can do all the trash here and misinform him about your actions and then you will go to heaven anyway. Here we are not interested in going to heaven. We know even if we go and sit on God's lap, after a few days we'll be bored with him. We are smart enough to know that. Hello? Is it not true?
Access.
People whom you thought are the most fantastic human beings, when you be with them for 3 days, you're bored, you want to go to a cinema, leaving that person there. So even with God, the same thing will happen, even with heaven, the same thing will happen, we know this. Because of this, our highest value became freedom or liberation. The only goal in this culture is mukti, moksha, nirvana. This means you want to become free, because freedom is the ultimate process of life. God is not the ultimate process here. We can create any number of gods, we have no issues. If you need some kind of a support, above all, these gods were created in a certain way. Some of them may be just an emotional expression of people, but a whole lot of them have a scientific basis to it. To access different dimensions of life, we created different kinds of deities. See, a murti, I don't know in Andhra Pradesh if you are still using this word, in Tamil Nadu still, many people call the murti as a yantra. Is it still there in Andhra?
Not that I heard of, no.
If you see in temples, there will be geometrical drawings to make the deity into a yantra. Yantra means what? A machine. Why do you create a machine? Because right now, why are we using a microphone?
To do something.
Because to enhance the faculty that we already have. We're able to speak. Suppose we had no speech, would we invent a microphone? Suppose you were made like a tree rooted to one place, would you invent a bicycle?
No.
Every machine that we have created is only enhancement of our existing faculties, isn't it? So the deities were also yantras, that means they were machines which will enhance your capability. Well, my life is a living demonstration of that. But if anything in India is a suspect today, for Indians at least. Everybody else looks at us in such great awe. But in India, anything Indian is this thing because there's a whole segment of media who is committed to beating this nation down. Yes, they're committed for beating this nation down for whatever reasons, I don't want to go into the reasons, but they're doing it continuously. But if it happens elsewhere, for example, you heard of Ramanujam, the mathematician. If he had not gone to London, we would have told him, we would have declared here he's a useless guy, all right? He just poured out mathematics. No training, no schooling, nothing. Simply, mathematics just poured out. What mathematics means is, it's another expression of creation. He just poured out mathematics. No training, no schooling, nothing. Simply, mathematics just poured out. What mathematics means is, it's another expression of creation. Creation reduced to numbers so that we can understand in a certain way, that's what mathematics is in a way. And this entire mathematical process, Albert Einstein said this entire mathematical process, which is the basis and the backbone of modern science, would be nothing without contribution from India. One important fragment of this is zero. Nobody could have thought about a zero except this nation, because only here we are looking at nirvana, moksha, which means becoming nothing. Nothingness is our ideal. So zero is always a big factor in our life. The ultimate nature of existence is nothingness. Today modern science is saying over 99% of creation is nothing, all right? That's a dimension. But nobody would have observed it outside. Only because we turned inside, here we said, this is it. Not only that, he poured out mathematics simply. When he was sick and dying, the last few months or whatever, he was simply pouring books and books of mathematics, simply writing. Some of the mathematics, some of the formulas and equations that he did actually describes black holes. See, there was no concept of black hole in 1910 or 1908 when he was writing this. Without a concept and a theory, you can't make math in science. But he first made math. Many years later, almost 40 years later, they came up with the idea of a black hole, a concept of a black hole. But he already made the math. When people asked him, where is this coming from? He said, my Devi bleeds mathematics. For him, his Devi is the window to something possible. So similarly, deities were created as a possibility to enhance your faculties in a certain way. So for everybody, we created a deity. You are a businessman, you want to become rich, one kind of deity. You are a creative person, you want to be creative, another kind of deity. You are a spiritual person, another kind of deity. You are a thief, for him also we have a deity, you know. Thieves have their own goddesses and gods who support their thievery. Yes, it is so. If you see traditional, there have been tribes who are culturally thieves, they're very proud of their profession. You know, you've heard of the Pindaris and others.
Yeah.
All these people had their own deities. Without worshipping their deity, they never went on their thievery business. Because they saw it as a trade. And to support that kind of activity, they had their own deities. Because these are energy forms which were created to facilitate a specific type of activity. So you want to be intellectually brilliant, one kind of deity. You want to be emotionally rich, another kind of deity. For everything we created a deity. These are yantras, these are machines. So if there is a machine, you must know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, you think it's junk. That's all that's happened today.
Nobody knows how to use it.
That is because most of the temples are taken by the government. Government clerks are there, no devotee in the temple. Government clerk is running the temple. Some of the police officers in Tamil Nadu are saying, in the media they have said this, that anywhere between 30 to 40% of the main deities in the temples may be sold and fake deities are sitting there. They're saying that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. There's some jewelry that's missing, it comes in the paper.
Jewelry is gone, land is gone. First of all, devotee is gone. A temple without a devotee means we know your intention is to run it down because you did not understand the profoundness of the culture. You thought, this is just like one more religion. This is not religion. This is exploration of human possibility.
For the purpose of inspiration, I am sharing the story of Vaibhav Dangi. After completion of inner engineering, Vaibhav Dangi says, I have completed my inner engineering completion on Jan 10th and was initiated into Sambhavi by Sadhguru. It has been 90 days since I have been practicing Sambhavi regularly and I want to share my experience. He says, I have been a skeptic all my life and so-called modern day atheist who believes and does things as it suits to his convenience and lethargy, but being an artist one thing I knew that about myself is when something profound come across my way, I was open to it. This is how Sadhguru invaded my life with his profound wisdom. Listening to him had such a nerve-claiming effect on me. It was more of involvement rather than listening to his word. But till now, I have not had any significant taste of a spiritual experience. I just watched him for his wisdom and motivational talk. It was in March 2020 when the first lockdown happened. Sadhguru started a daily satsang live on YouTube every day at 6 pm. The satsang used to start with a powerful chant, Yoga Yoga Yogeswaraya. That was the first time I realized what a mantra can do if you do it regularly and in appropriate way. The mantra started to grow on me and its reverberations had a crazy impact on my mind. I decided to do inner engineering and register for the event in Mumbai, but I got postponed due to COVID. Finally, in January 2021, inner engineering competition was into Sambhavi, organized online by Isa Foundation for the very first time. Sadhguru initiated thousands of people into Sambhavi that day, and I was so grateful that I was one of them. Isa volunteers did a phenomenal job in organizing such a large-scale event seamlessly. Life post Sambhavi. Today, as I write this, I have completed 90 days of practicing Sambhavi Mahamudra, and what a beautiful experience it has been. It has done wonders to me. Suddenly, it feels that I have a lot more energy and time. I feel less drained and mentally fit after work. The constant chit-chat of thought in my mind have reduced considerably. My eating habits have changed from compulsive to conscious eating. I have become more receptive to nature. Serious situations affect me less than before. There is so much clarity in doing things. I was never a religious person, never visited any temple because all of it seemed to be a compulsive act out of fear of God. But now doing my sadhana is my favorite time in the entire day. He further says, I have no words about Sadhguru for his contribution to me. I consider myself my fortune to have completed inner engineering. To all the people out there, I would suggest you all to not miss out to experience this rare opportunity of inner engineering and see the change for yourself. Do not listen to people who are just here to find fault with everything possible. Vaibhav Dange.